Fenway, the canine money pit, chews his way to the top of the most wanted list in Pet Trainer 911. From doomed to groomed, a hard luck mutt gets a major makeover. And the healing power of horses? All this, plus what to do when your dog eats something you both wish it had avoided, coming up on Animal Attractions.
Hi, I'm Alex Boylan.
And I'm Megan Blake.
And welcome to Animal Attractions, the show about deep affection people have for their pets.
And you'll also get the latest tips and facts from America's leading experts.
Casey here is a purebred, but mutts are great too. And today we're going to learn how for some dogs, pedigree is simply a state of mind.
We're also going to meet Tracy and her horse and hear their survival story and how she's touching lives every day.
But first, a story that starts out routinely, but doesn't end up that way, trust me.
Hannah was at the end of her rope with Fenway, her adopted mixed-breed dog. His compulsive chewing was costing her way too much. So she called Coach Ronald White to help.
Hi, how are you doing? I'm Hannah. Nice to meet you. Well, I'm very glad you're here today.
Oh, thank you. So you have your list?
Yes, I do. I have it right here. One of the main problems with Fenway is his chewing of objects. He likes to chew cable cords, DVDs, and you can see all his DVDs and the books all right there.
Yeah,
and
this is his.
I grew up with the same dog for 20 years, and then I moved to Florida after graduating college up north, and I was living in a house by myself. And I was kind of lonely, wasn't used to that, so I wanted a dog there to keep me company. I was attracted to Fenway right away by his personality, his coloring, and just his excitement. Well, when I got Fenway home, he was really energetic, trying to get used to the place, scoping out, seeing what the situation was. And that was all fine, but then when I would leave to go to a job or go out for a little bit, he would get really nervous that I wasn't coming back, because in the past he'd been abandoned or given back. I'm not really sure of the whole story, but he would get so nervous that he'd start destroying stuff as kind of punishment that I was leaving him. He would destroy books, computers, like the cords, DVDs. He's chewed up a number of my DVDs. Basically anything he can get his hand on.
Hannah, she called me up and told me about her dog. Chews up stuff around the house.
Mainly paper items and plastic, hard plastic things.
He would chew stuff, and she wouldn't get on him. She wouldn't let him know. She would, like, just take it away from him and hope that he don't do it again and stick the muzzle on him. Dog don't know no better. He's gonna be a dog.
After living by myself with Fenway for a couple months, and then getting a roommate, my roommate was very upset about Fenway's chewing because it'd been about 2 or 3 computer cords, and that's her business and her job, so that kind of prevents her from working some days until I can go and spend a lot of money getting her another cord. It was kind of after about the 3rd computer cord that he chewed through, and that was a couple $100. We decided it was about time to put money towards getting him trained. So I signed him up for Coach Ronald White's boot camp. I heard about Coach Ronald White through a mutual friend whose dog was a complete menace, but then after going to Coach White, he was completely trained and one of the best behaved dogs I'd seen, so.
Well, don't worry about your dog.
Okay.
And we're gonna train him, and you won't need that muzzle on him anymore.
Good. Bye, Fenway. Be a good boy, and I'll see you in 30 days.
When we take the dog home, we still keep the muzzle on him for a few days, then we take it off of him, mess around with him, let him get to know me by feeding him, petting on him, loving on him, making everything just normal.
Want this? Huh? You want that?
Not the 9th to 10th day after we got to know him, then we just took him through his training. Please. Please. I would take him through his obedience by making him walk on my side, and then I'll be giving him commands, but I won't be saying his name, and I won't be petting and loving on him. And he'd go through his heel, stop, sit, down, stay, and he'll hear every day. Heel. Once he has the structure, then he's learning to stop chewing stuff around the house. Stop, sit. Well, we got his toys, and we got the stuff that he tore up, and they know the difference. So the stuff that he tore up, I'll give it to him and see which one he takes. And then if he takes the toy, I'll pet and love on him and praise him. Good boy. That's a good boy. But if he takes that wire or a book or something, I'll take it and I'll tell him. Leave it. Leave it. And I'll tell him it's a bad dog. He knows the difference. Like wait about an hour or two to set it all back down, do something else, set it in another room, and take him through it. I won't feed your dog in the morning time. He'll work right out of my pocket. I got treats right here. So you may work your dog after he got done eating, but I'm gonna work him hungry. The hungrier your dog is, the smarter he is. That's a good boy. Leave it, leave it. We give that dog no choice but to learn his commands. Please. He wants to be a leader, so he's gonna be out front pulling me. And I just gradually show him his place with me. Because I'm not going for this wild walk. Heel. I'll work with the dog for 30 days, and then I'll go work with Hannah, and I'll train her with the dog.
When Coach White first brought Fenway home, I was ecstatic. I hadn't seen him in 30 days. I just ran out there, and after calmed down from the excitement of seeing each other, I really saw a change in Fenway. His temperament, he was more calm. It was like I was seeing someone else's dog, but it was mine. It was great. Okay.
And then show him where his timeout's at. Timeout, timeout, timeout. Oh, for the first day, it was kind of awkward because it's all new to her, showing her how to hold her hands down, what to say to the dog. Be a little bit more firmer with him.
Come here. Heel.
But the second day, she caught on to it. And she was doing real good. Okay, and this stuff like this right here, you can use this because he's been trained to leave it. Okay. So what we can do is give him to him. Or just tell him.
Leave it. Wow, I've never seen him do that before.
And then you can give him one of his chew toys.
Good boy.
She knew just what I was talking about. And she would put the dog through his paces.
Leave it.
And then once I see her put the dog through her paces, I know that the dog is trained and she is too.
Hi, Fenway, come here. Dad's my good boy.
You gave me a list.
Yep.
And I'm going to give you a list the way he's trained.
Okay.
And you just call me if you got any problem with your dog.
Okay.
I'm always your dog trainer.
Yep. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good one. I could see a huge change in Fenway. He was listening, he was behaving, he wasn't as hyperactive, but he still had the energy and the excitement, but a behaved excitement. Now I don't have to take Fenway out at a muzzle, which is one of my greatest concerns. I can take him around people, kids, other pets. He goes down to the beach almost every day. We go down there, and I don't have to worry about him going off and misbehaving because he stays right next to me and behaves. Before Coach White's training, me and Fenway's relationship was a little rocky, but now it's exactly what I was looking for. He's the best dog, the best companion that I could possibly hope for.
Now you'd imagine that a movie star dog like Lassie or the cute little Jack Russell Terrier from Frasier would get the royal treatment. But what about the millions of totally unique, one-of-a-kind canines like Bruiser here, known as the mutt? What's wrong with a mutt makeover? Every year, an estimated 6 to 8 million dogs and cats enter rescue shelters hoping to be adopted. But thousands more are simply abandoned or lost. That's what happened to another little dog named Bailey, who not only got a mutt makeover, but a life makeover in the bargain.
We came on a busy street and there was a dog lying in the middle of the road. We thought he had been run over and that he was dead. We pulled over to the side of the road and we approached the dog, and there were cars swerving all around, and suddenly this dog sprang to life. And when I got out of the car and approached him, he sat down and kind of wagged his tail at my feet and wanted me to pick him up, and we were stopping traffic at this point. I picked him up. He was just a mess.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Jack. Oh dear heavens.
On the side of the road.
Oh gosh.
And we brought the dog to the animal clinic. We got the vet check. He had a ton of. He was so, flea bitten. He was anemic. His belly was distended with worms, and yet that his happy personality could still come out. His love of people and his want to be around people. Right next door to Julington Creek is this place called Animal Walk, where we got to clean him up. When we were washing Bailey, there were so many fleas that came out in the bath water, which I thought was great, but he was also so freckled from fleas. They were all over him, and they were looking for dry ground on his nose. So after we washed Bailey, he got blow dried. My daughter held him tight. We stayed close by. He was a nervous wreck. He was really frantic. He obviously was abandoned and had never been, groomed before. So we made sure we were close by, and he did great. I think he's happier now. So after Bailey was blow dried, we got him a haircut. We got to see his eyes for the first time, and what they did, it was a neat technique. They kind of acclimated him to the scissors. So they kind of brushed the scissors against his nose, and that made him feel more comfortable when they were able to cut. And we were able to see his eyes for the first time.
Peekaboo, peekaboo.
So after they cut around Bailey's eyes, they cut the hair in between his paws.
It's almost done.
And they dressed him up in a cool handkerchief, and it was so cool to see how we found him on the road to a couple hours later, this beautiful, happy, fluffy, clean puppy.
You're such a good boy.
Bailey's no movie star, but he plays a huge role in our life, and the time and the money that we've put in to him has been the best investment. It's been totally worth it.
Oh, yes. If you find a stray animal, remember safety first. If they appear aggressive, don't approach them. Call animal control, and they'll safely pick them up. But if they're friendly, then check to see if they have a tag, where you can usually find a phone number to contact the owner. But if there is no identification, you can file a report with your local animal control or humane society. That way, if the owner calls them, then they can find their pet. Who's there? You're looking at one of the most popular dog breeds in America, equally at home on a farm and a studio apartment. Take one of these little guys out for a walk and just try not to hear, "Oh, he's so cute!" But the Dachshund has a steely undercoat as well. The name is German for badger hound, because they were originally bred to be able to wriggle into a narrow hole and flesh out the nastiest animals in the forest. So they had to be fierce and fearless as well. So even if you don't have badgers roaming your neighborhood, is a Dachshund right for you?
A Dachshund has to be busy, and of course they're people dogs, so they would prefer being with their loved ones at all times. If they're used to going with their loved ones and being with them all the time, or even riding in a car, if they get used to that, they can really be upset if you go and leave them for a period of time by themselves. If you were to go into a breeder's place to pick out a puppy, and if he had several pups there, especially for a family with children, they would want the more outgoing and possibly even the largest of the puppies, because a larger dog can handle child play a little bit better than the small ones.
Some of the common health characteristics of a Dachshund are related to their small and squatty nature. Their elongated trunk makes them prone to certain back problems. The design of their body makes it susceptible to having certain kinds of disc disease that can affect them neurologically later in life. It's important when picking up a Dachshund to make sure that you cradle the rear end and support the trunk at the same time. By getting together with your veterinarian, he can help educate you and get both of you guys started on a health plan so you and your Dachshund can live a long and healthy life together.
There's an entire smorgasbord of Dachshund types to choose from. Standard size, miniature size, black and tan coats, red coats, dappled coats, short-haired, wire-haired, and in all combinations. But a reputable breeder should be your first choice.
If it gets off to a good start with its training and gets trained properly, you'll never have a better and a more loyal companion.
Some of the things that you use on an everyday basis in your household can be dangerous or even deadly. Antifreeze is one of these things. Unfortunately, antifreeze tastes sweet to cats and dogs, which is a problem because even a small amount can be deadly to them. You may not realize it, but when you fill up your antifreeze, some of it may spill on the ground, or even during the summer when your car overheats, some of it can overflow and be on the ground. If this is a concern for you, there's a substitute product on the market that contains propylene glycol instead of ethylene glycol, which is not toxic to your pet. Make sure to check the label. If you have any concern at all that your pet got into antifreeze, see your vet immediately because there is an antidote, but it is time sensitive. Some of the most common toxins in pets are things that we eat every day. For example, chocolate. At low doses, chocolate can cause hyperexcitability and vomiting and diarrhea, but at high doses, it can cause seizures, comas, and even death. Milk chocolate isn't nearly as bad as Baker's or unsweetened chocolate. So be extra careful if you have Baker's chocolate around. Although grapes and raisins are a healthy snack for us, they can cause kidney failure in dogs. It seems that some dogs may be more sensitive to this. So to be on the safe side, don't give your dog any grapes or raisins.
No, Tank, no. This will poison you.
You may have heard that it's okay to give your pet pain medication, but in actuality, the majority of these medications can also be toxic. Ibuprofen, acetaminophen, and other medications like this can cause stomach ulcers, liver damage, and kidney failure. This is just a short list of the things that you can find around your house that can be toxic to your dog or cat. So to be on the safe side, if it's not specifically designed for your cat or dog, don't let them have it.
The woman you're about to meet has survived more life struggles than most of us can possibly imagine. How does she find the strength to persevere? Well, through the help of a very special pet. Here, take a look.
Rocky is a wonderful horse. He runs around and bucks and snorts.
Ever encounter angels here on Earth? Well, you're about to. This little guy may not have visible wings, but as a therapy horse, he's teaching kids to fly.
We're speeding! Trot, Rocky! Trot, Rocky! When starting Angel Heart Farm, I really had no idea what I was getting myself into, but my horse probably got me through my cancer more than anybody else or anything else. And if I didn't have her, I probably wouldn't be here.
Tracy founded Angel Heart Farms, and she is a 3-time cancer survivor herself. And she tells a story about one night she had a dream that she was giving writing lessons to a bald-headed child, and that's where it all started.
I was going through cancer treatment at the time, and even when I didn't feel well, I'd go ride, and I felt great. So I thought, well, if it's going to work for me, certainly it'll work for these little bald-headed children I'm dreaming about. So that's how Angel Heart Farm kind of came to be.
When you come to Angel Heart Farm, it's a safe haven away from the hospitals and the doctor's visits for the children and the families. It's a place where your child can be a child, and be normal.
Savannah! Ah! Hey, sweetie. How are you? Good. Ready to see Rocky? Our mission of Angel Heart Farm is to work with children with chronic and life-threatening illnesses using equine-assisted therapy. Not only is it therapy for the body, it's for the mind and it's for the spirit. The pure joy our children get and our horses get from one another is amazing.
And it's an opportunity that a lot of children don't have, and something that they wouldn't have the opportunity to do without Angel Heart Farms.
They play with the dogs, they go chase the kitties in the hayloft, and they go out in the pasture and get the horses with us, and they brush them, and they give them baths, and they ride, and we go on trail rides together, and it's just, I can't even explain the joy I get from it. And you see the parents get the joy, and the children are just, they don't even know they're sick anymore. Throw that leg up. Say, whoa, Rocky. Not only do they learn to ride the horses, but they learn to clean the stalls, if they so choose. Some of them say it really stinks bad, but then they actually get into it because they get to push the poopy cart around. They learn to brush the horses. They learn to clean out the feet. You're doing a better job than me. We take walks together with the horses.
Walk on, Rocky.
Your thumbs up? Oh, there you go. Good girl. Good. Beautiful. Good job. Being in the hospital, you're continually being a recipient of care, that they get to be little givers here. So it makes them very empowered. It makes them feel stronger and a lot more self-worthy.
She understands these families, and she understands the children and the treatment that they're going through, and she understands all the feelings and emotions that they have during their battle.
Walk on, sis, go. Go. 1, get.
Our farm consists of 9 angels, and we collectively call them the Angel Crew.
All of them have their own personalities.
Rocky is a little Welsh cob pony, and he is pretty much the pony ambassador of the program. He's great for children from the ages 2 to 8, 9.
Rocky's my favorite horse.
Rocky probably gets the most fan letters and love letters and Valentines and little drawings from our kids.
He's not happy that he's done with this. One of our favorite horses is Rocky. Rocky and Caitlin have a very special bond. They are just perfect for each other.
What
you want to give him a treat?
We actually use Rocky probably more than any other horse in the program, mainly because of his size and the age of children we have right now. He's a former show pony, and he's just breathtakingly beautiful. And there are a million stories to tell about Rocky, but probably my favorite is one of our little girls, Sorrel. I met Sorrel a couple years ago, and she was diagnosed with leukemia for the 2nd time. And she just fell in love with Rocky, and I think Rocky fell in love with her. It was like, I've never seen an instant bond like those two have. And we had a birthday party out here for Sorrel, and she was actually feeling very healthy. She was in remission at the time. 3 days later, she relapsed with her leukemia, and things weren't going very well. And every time I'd go visit her at the hospital, she wanted to know what Rocky was doing. And so I convinced the doctors that the best treatment for Sorrel was Rocky. And they had given Sorrel just a few days to actually live. So I took Rocky to Children's Vanderbilt. He went up the elevator and went into the atrium, and we wheeled Sorrel out in her little wagon. She brushed her pony, she rode her pony, and giggled and laughed and fed him about 5 pounds of carrots. You got it! And one of the nurses asked her, do you need some morphine? And she said, no, Rocky's here. And you should have seen all those people in the going, oh, what's that horse doing here? What's that horse doing here? I said, well, he's visiting his best friend. He came back the following evening, and she rode him again. And a couple days later, her counts began to rise. She was off the ventilator. She was running around the hospital. And They did a bone marrow transplant, and the young lady was getting remission. So we believe Rocky is probably one of the best medicines out there. And she's blind from her treatment. But one thing she told me was, I don't care if I can't see Rocky, I can touch him and I can ride him.
There's a very special garden at Angel Heart Farms. It was created in memory of the children that are no longer with us, that are now in heaven and have received their ultimate healing. There's stepping stones coming into the garden, and each stone has a child's name on it that was a part of the program. And the stones also, not only do they have their names, but it also has something special and interest that a child had. In September of '03, my 2-year-old son was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer, and he passed away 2 months ago after a 2.5-year battle. And he has won and has his victory in heaven, and there is a magnolia tree in the garden in memory of him.
When going through treatment, you don't really have much control over what people are doing to you. Getting shots and going through treatment wasn't that much fun, and I understood how my kids feel. And I understand when I ride my horse, when I was riding my mare, how I felt. I had so much control when I was on her. The only time I felt well, and when I was riding her or when I was around her, she just brought so much joy. And I think when you have joy in your life, you can overcome just about anything. Our biggest belief is that even if you are not feeling great, you'll leave feeling really good at the end of your ride.